right here. What happened? So how did my brain do that, you ask? I had a dream, and it was a really long dream, and a very intense dream. It was about zombies. Now, this dream felt like it went on for, at least a week, if not more than a week or two. It felt like the longest thing ever, and it felt so real. It was weird. So we started off in this place, which is apparently my school, and there was zombies everywhere. But they were the very easy zombies to deal with. They're really mindless, but the only issue was they looked very similar to us. I forget the differences. It was probably like fogged over eyes or something like that, but they weren't all like deteriorating like most classic zombies are. They looked very, very normal. In some cases, it was almost difficult to find the difference between the two. So we were in my school, which wasn't my school. It was, to me, where I currently went to school in the dream, because you just kind of accept everything in the dream. But it was in my school. It was called the same thing as the school I currently go to, which is in my town. But the weird thing is, we kind of took it as if this was a thing that happened often, but it didn't happen close to home, so it was never really that big of an issue. Like, I think what happened was my mind kind of took it as all the zombie movies and games I've played were on this world, but not close enough to me, so eventually they got dealt with, and then it was just like, okay, now we're good. Because it literally felt like weeks ago, I don't remember the very first days of it where we were escaping from the school when the first outbreak started happening. So, I don't remember that was the real, heroic, adventurous part, because that's where the zombies were, but we escaped safely. And then my mom, we drove around with her because they weren't rampant through everywhere. They were just in a few select places, but there was a lot of them in these places. So we went to another facility in the school to save a few kids. There was only 4 people in the entire time that I recognized from my own life. So we saved a few of the kids from this big facility. It was like a library computer lab type thing, and it was like one big floor with tons of kids reading and on the computer. But the thing is, like I said, the zombies and people look very similar. So 97% of these people were zombies, and there was only a few. I think we saved around 4, but there were 6 who came outside. For some reason, my mom drove away before the 2 came out because the other zombies who were sitting down didn't move. They didn't chase after the kids who got out of the facility. They just kind of stood there. So for some reason, my mom, who is the sweetest person you'll meet if you ever meet my mother, but she left them for some reason. She just kind of did this crazy thing with the car. So she did that thing where you back up really fast and skid and then hit the gas so you move in the other direction. And I don't know why. Now this is where another weird thing happened. We're driving away. Also, this is a very forested area. That seems to be where our town was. So it made it all the more creepy. But we're driving away, and there's all these military trucks coming into the facility that we just saved the kids from. And then one of the military trucks had the 11th Doctor inside a case. He was encased, kind of like the Pandorica. It was a mixture of, in season 7, when he's covered with the red ooze stuff and he just can't move and he's trapped, plus being stuck in a Pandorica, being transferred around to the military. And I don't know why that happened, because that was the only time he showed up and he had nothing to do with anything. I guess that's a 5th person from my life, because I don't actually know the 11th Doctor. I don't actually know Matt Smith, but I saw him, so I guess that's another thing. Anyway, we drive away, skipping forward a bit. We go into these military facilities, and it felt like just a big camp almost, because I just kind of showed up. Because at this point in the dream, it kind of skipped some time, and I just kind of showed up at a house, kind of like a big fancy dorm, and my roommate was there, and I was next to my roommate's quarters. But my quarters were nowhere to be found. At that point, I saw a very old friend as well, for some reason. She was there as well, and she showed up just for a few seconds, and she also had nothing to do with anything. I'm not going to name names of all the people I saw here, but okay, here's the list of the people that I knew from my own life. Some random kid from my school that I don't know too well, but he was on a sports team with me, the doctor, my roommate, an old friend, and my mother. If any of you think this is you, you can message me and I will let you know, especially if I actually like do closely know you, then I'll let you know who it is, but to everyone else, it will be a mystery. Anyway, where was I? Oh yes, so I was trying to find my quarters. So I was going around to the different facilities, going to like every room, trying to find where my clothes were, because apparently that's how it worked. We just kind of showed up, and that's where our stuff was. It was a dream, so it didn't really make much sense. We just kind of accepted it. Right? So I looked around and looked around and looked around, and I couldn't find anything. And I think it just kind of skipped that whole time frame, because I don't remember seeing many people in that time frame. But finally, this is where the dream started to end. Sadly, of course, because it's a dream, there's no definitive ending, cool ending, happy ending, sad ending, whatever. But this is where the dream went to an end, is I found these two kids fighting. And then, all of a sudden, it went from this realistic, like, well, I mean, I guess zombies are not realistic, but realistic all except for the fact that there are zombies existing. All of a sudden, there are these two kids fighting, and one of them said they were going to curse the other one. And so I was just like, you're gonna curse the other one. That's like some magic witchcraft stuff. So at this point, the kid went and did some weird thing with his hands, and like 10 seconds, maybe a minute later, the kid who did the weird thing with his hands died. We didn't really know he had died yet, but we took the kid, like passed out, to his dad at the house with the other kid that this kid was going to curse. So we all went to his house, and the dad was just kind of like the dad didn't even seem to care, but he was just kind of like, he mentioned something about he messed up the curse, so basically he cast the curse on himself and killed himself. But the dad wasn't really too bent out of shape of it. It was just kind of like, heh, alright, I guess he killed himself because he screwed up a curse, and what an idiot. And it was just like, what's going on? And then that's where it kind of like drifts off to the point where I can't remember. So all of this, there was a lot that went on. Like the getting out of the school took a few days, and then the saving the kids, preparing for that took days. And so like this was the stuff that I vividly remember. I really remember the parts that I told you guys, but I don't remember as much of the other stuff, so I don't really want to just go and just kind of make things up that I can't fully remember. So that's that, and it was just this weird thing that happened to me. So yeah, I guess my brain made excitement and something I could talk about in my video for you guys. So that's that. It was really weird, and I woke up and I was like, I'm home. Oh my god, it's over. Because I was never actually that scared. It was just kind of like this thing like, oh, I hope this is over so I can go out and do stuff again. Not be trapped in this thing, possibility of dying. But it was never like, oh god, we're gonna die. I was never that scared, which was weird. But yeah, so, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a rating, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next week. Goodbye!